I can't fault it at all. Anyway, no, that's very impressive. It's greedy for grass.
Driving CLAAS for a long time now, like CLAAS diehard.
He's maybe scared of getting into her liking her.
I think he's running out of reasons not to like her, maybe it's the problem.
I'm actually saying nothing, Connor, sir, if you're going to get me in Mower.
Blow for the first week or two, and then grass get heavy and you're thinking maybe this thing should be going better. The last 2 or 3 years, there's a spell of weather we're both out, like something simple the CLAAS has that I think Krone should be trying to do would be
We are truly looking at a site I never thought I would see. And I mean, I don't know how many years I've been coming around here, but Bob, you are the main character in this show here. 40 years of loyalty to the CLAAS brand. How did you let your grandson talk you into a Krone?
Well, I suppose he was really on for it, and I must say, since it came, I can't fault it.
But you must have been nervous, Bob. Come on, tell us how you really felt.
Well, we had demonstrations, so that assured us that it was okay.
And have you looked? I mean, we have seen the videos. We have seen you in the harvester. Are you won over?
Certainly, the first year, the Krone has impressed. As I say, I can't fault it at all. Anyway, no, that's very impressive. It's greedy for grass.
One of the most famous sayings that has ever come out of this yard is you talking about a big M. Nothing can mow like a big M. Nothing in this earth. Could you say that about a big X, only to do with lifting grass?
Well, certainly, as far as big lumpy swards, they just disappear. There's no problem at all. No.
Just smooth as silk.
It's very impressive.
Well, Andrew, we know Bob is deep down a CLAAS man. Let's be honest. But you got your way eventually.
Took a while.
You got your way, and you just didn't go with anything too shabby now in terms of a Krone. You went for pretty much range top and 980 with 1180 capability. Talk me through what you had to do to get that machine here, because I'm sure that can't have been easy. Why did you push for the change? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, these are number one in the world, let's be honest. So why?
Oh, it was nothing really to do with the CLAAS machine as such. It's not that we weren't happy or anything like that. I just feel sometimes, unless you try something, you never really know. The fact there always was the distance between dealer and us. You're always a wee bit sceptical how that would go if something went wrong. And I suppose with Johnny, friendly with Johnny for too many years maybe now, but that played a part too, with him only an arm away, and that took the scare factor out of that. Well, I thought personally it was time to try something else, and it just took a wee bit of convincing.
You've been working towards this change for a few years, let's be honest.
Yeah.
There's yourself and then Andrew Brown, and you have both been harping in the Krone corner for as long as I can remember. And it was things like, it's a different part of the world up here. It's multi-cut system. And there have been issues over the years getting the grass through the pickups at times. That's just what Bob said, just destroy the lumps.
Yeah, that's right. The grass on a whole has probably got lighter, but it's got denser. Lumps is more frequent. Everybody's tedding, as you say, the lumps, that thing can work with them.
Andrew, how is things going with this lady?
I'm going well, doing really good for us, to be fair.
How many acres would you have through her now?
We'd be coming up close to 8,000, between 7,500 and 8,000.
You have a fair wee bit done then, see you?
Aye, sort of broke in maybe now.
You're on to her now then, is what you're saying?
Figure out the buttons now, maybe that's but maybe end of March, start of April she come.
Yes.
So she was here for...
You've had her for the full season now, so...
She's come a good time, to be fair.
What are your thoughts on her anyway, compared to the class?
I know, I like her now, to be fair. It's never a bad day in her, really. That leaves it sort of effortless, you know. She does all the hard work. I'm doing a lot less in here.
I'm sure that's what you want.
Okay, definitely extra power and all that there. Even the intake, you know, you can relax a lot more in the seat. You know, if it goes in the front, it's coming out the shit too. You're not having to go out and read a shit or anything like that. So.
What power is this machine?
She's a Krone 980, so she's supposed to be 980 horse on paper anyway.
Do you think she's doing every bit of it then?
Aye, they're very efficient with her power, you know, like we do a whole lot of work before she even needs to use any power. Like,
have you a preference now, or would you rather?
Well, I wouldn't be wanting to go out of her now. I'm in her, I'm happy. But if Andrew bought a class this next time round, sure, he would just have to drive it. Well, it was given an option now, and I'm more than happy I'm here, to be fair. I suppose the main thing is the 6 feed rollers. You definitely have no bother with for taking it in now. If you get it in to the head at all, that's in the trailer, you don't even have to think about it. It's Bluetooth.
Yes.
Just goes from there to there. You don't know what happens in between.
Point and go, just.
Robert, the way I look at this, Andrew was very much for Krone. Bob is a class man through and through. So someone had to be in the fence somewhere. Was that you?
I would say it was.
Where did you come in the way and up the decision here?
I just never, I would say used to whatever my dad sort of was wanting on harvesters, because at the end of the day, he was, years ago, that's where it all started, he was driving the CLAAS harvesters, and we grew up with that. And it was just a thing, it just was a norm that it was a CLAAS harvester was bought. I never really ever thought there would ever be a change.
If only we could play back all the conversations we have personally had over the years about how CLAAS is the only machine. Just the fact that the big change came was such a shock.
Well, it was, because, I mean, if that's 18 CLAAS self-propelled forage harvesters since they started with the very first 690. So, like, for me looking out, I mean, why would I think there'd ever be a change? So it wasn't until Andrew come along, and I see Andrew's point. Andrew is constantly saying these 970 harvesters, plenty of power on that, but their problem is the front end's letting them down. And I said, well, why not go 980 or 990 class? You're on the same problem. They're too narrow, they're not fit to work with the lumps. We need to go to something else that'll work with the lumps. And it was really when Johnny McMullen took on the Krone thing in RMI, he said it's either now or never.
And Bob, you were like, oh no.
Well, you were a bit sceptical at the start, weren't you?
I haven't had the CLAAS machines all them years, and I must say they were good and reliable, and I couldn't fault them in other ways. They just need a bit more width to them. I knew that they got that. I think they'll be 100%.
Well, that is just exactly where I was coming to, Bob. Do you feel now, as the CLAAS man, you've jumped a year too early when you see the new CLAAS range coming through?
I suppose time will tell when we see this new machine going, but I would have high hopes for this new CLAAS harvester. I don't think I'll be disappointed.
And what have you seen about it or heard about it that's given you high hopes?
Well, it's the extra width, and that's what it needed. It's got that. I would have very high hopes. It'll be first class. One thing I will say about CLAAS machines, they do hold their value, and that's a big point.
Here, that's a very important point, because as a business, with the price of all new machines, the more value you can have on a machine when you're finished, that's your money. And that's what you're always working towards, so that's a good point. But the new CLAAS machine still has to come out and prove that it's going to be good to have its high residual.
Well, I don't see why it should disappoint, because we looked for this that they had done, and as they said themselves, they have listened. They have made this machine the way that I would like it to be.
This last 2 or 3 years, there's a spell of weather, we're both out. Like, there's very little that we're able to just run one outfit now. So now we're pretty much even, and like the work, there's not much difference. But David was sort of due a harvester this year, but he's last day hard. So
Oh, he not changed that.
I had to step up.
Has he had a run on this? Yeah.
No.
He's not took a run
He
on it
hasn't
at all.
even had a go. Like,
Right.
He hasn't. No, I can hardly look at her now, to be honest. If you're walking by her in the shed, he has to look the other way.
I know, he'll not be wanting to jump on her then.
He's been driving fast for a long time now. Like, got the bed sheets and lunchbox and all, he can't change now.
He's maybe scared of getting into her and liking her.
I think he's running out of reasons not to like her, maybe it's the problem.
He'll maybe be holding off to see about these 1,000 series Jaguars. Maybe
I would say if David had the choice, that's what he'd be wanting. Yeah, he's talking about her every lot now.
It's on the wish list,
That's usually the topic of conversation. I think they've sort of took that 900 series as far as they could. Like, it's sort of it's at its max, really. They needed a new model just to sort of copy as many bits off Krone as they can.
Andrew, when would this one be due a change? Like, is it in cycle? Is it there? Is it something you'd be thinking about? And if you were thinking about, you boys could have the ultimate test here next year. We could have the Krone versus the I tell you, they'd be coming from all around the world to see that one. But is she up? Is she a potential? Like, I'm not even smart. What age is that machine?
2021.
So she is due a change.
It's something we thought long and hard about this week, actually. So.
What are we doing? What are we thinking?
Well, let my granda maybe tell you that one.
Oh, that tells us the answer.
Well, we have the deal done now, and we bought a 1,000 series CLAAS. So the Krone, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the Krone. CLAAS is finally done what they should have done years ago, and they have brought out this 1,000 series that's wide the whole way through, and I feel that is the machine to buy. So that's why we dealt for the CLAAS this time. Andrew didn't really care where we went, the Krone or the CLAAS, but I think now that this CLAAS model's here, we have to try it. And my father, he would like to see it going as well, and that's why.
I think, Bob, it would be for yourself. You'd be nice to get the new model in, and we'll have to get you up, getting a load filled in her there. Andrew, what do you think?
Oh, I think
You'll have coughed now when the prices would have been going across the table, I would think.
Well, having both colours is a bit of good, healthy competition too. It's a good move, I think, definitely.
But hey, boys, that is a far superior machine on sheer forward speed. I mean, and we've seen the demo machine floating about as well. And that's without hitting the X power button. That's the truth. And if you can hit the X power button and take it to left, it's absolutely scary what that can do. So yeah. I'm not meaning this in a smart way. If you have a 1080 coming now, how similar will that be on paper?
I have put Trevor Campbell over this and Lance McCartney, and Trevor tells me we will not be disappointed. Connor Trimble was on the phone and he said himself they will not be disappointed.
So next year is going to be a very exciting year here when we get the two machines, and you'll have the new pickup head, which no chains, all direct drive. I know when I was sitting in the one with the young lad that was driving it over at Metcalf's, I asked him what happens when you block it and stuff like that, and he was like, I haven't blocked it. We haven't literally stuffed that head as such. Bigger challenge for these big machines is you can't get big enough rows in front of them.
Well, I suppose that is, becoming an issue. And then if you go any bigger, like on a 4-rotor rake, it's too big for here. That's the problem. Like a 6-rotor rake, I think, is overkill here. It's dead on in England or America, but here in Northern Ireland, I can't see it working.
No pressure, no pressure. I got to turn this 2-way off.
Right, when you hear new harvester, Joe, what's it like to sit beside this compared to the CLAAS?
Put a lot of grass through her, hey. Definitely. The starts was wild hard to get on. They sit beside her, you know.
Why,
just for there
the
was that
speed?
much blue, hey, and speed too, like. Oh, it was wicked, but no, you're on there here now, not too bad, hey. I don't know, I think it maybe, I don't know. I'd rather sit beside the CLAAS or no, I'm not too sure, hey.
And why is that, just because it's handy, or?
Not even that. Well, I might get in a bit of bother for saying she goes a bit slower, but sure you can see yourself there, like it's wicked.
Maybe Snowy is just easier to listen to in the CLAAS than Brown, is that it?
I'm actually saying nothing, Connor, so if you're going to get me in Mower. You'll catch me, yeah.
So what's the crack with you, Joe? What's the season been like?
Sure, not too bad, aye. Good season, we're getting work done.
And what's sort of the dynamic around the yard? You know, what's everybody's thoughts on her? Because I know, like, well, there's been a lot of changes, I suppose, since Andrew probably took over a bit more, like between the rakes and.
I think there's a bit of diversity at the start with Snowy and Snowy's die-hard CLAAS, like, you know.
Well, Snowy was supposed to be Snowy's turn to change.
What I mean,
but he didn't want
he
to
didn't want
the
her,
club.
He took out 970 Browse, but she's not out either. Like,
Well, the likes of the gaffer, who was CLAAS for since they started, like, what was his thoughts on it? I was there in the day whenever they lifted it, and he seemed well pleased, and I've seen different clips of him out driving.
Well, like any time I spoke to him about her, his last thing I suppose about her, like, he's always interested, you know, it's not as if to say he doesn't want to know about it, but he's always interested, and I think he is pleased with her, like, I definitely do. I don't know how pleased Ben is about her, grass going on that wee bit harder.
That's the other thing.
I don't think it would worry the same boy.
Well, that's one of the things I always questioned about these bigger harvesters. Like, I know, not in a bad way, I know CLAAS have released their new 1000 series, John Deere have released their F8s and F9s, these bigger output harvesters. But, you know, there's only so fast you can put grass into a pit too.
100%.
So where does it end?
I do not know. Say a bigger shovel, but Silage aren't getting any bigger, really.
You know, you take this yard here, for example.
Aye.
Right.
you couldn't work with much bigger, you know.
Well, you have 4 trailers there the day to your Krone.
Aye.
Well, a bigger harvester, you maybe need 5 or 6.
Aye, keep her going.
But then what size of shovel do you need to be pushing that? You're not going to put a 457 in there, are you?
You'll be sitting waiting, you know. I think you're going to be sitting waiting either end if it's not sort of evened out one way or another. You know, you have bigger trailers, bigger harvester, and a bigger shovel. Like, we don't have the place or the space to work with.
Well, that's the thing.
What good is it, really?
Andrew, if you have 2 of these monsters, and that's what they'll both be, monsters, is there weak links anywhere else within your fleet, or what do you think? No, I'm not meaning that as a smart
Probably
question.
the temperament of the buck rake, man. Well, the pit is obviously going to be more will struggle. We tried last year whenever like Andrew was really pushing that machine, going with the weir shovel and trying to run the 2. You know, some places it suits, some places it doesn't. But you just have to do what you can do.
Bob, come back to your younger years of driving your first self-propelled. What was it you said you've seen 18 self-propels?
First self-propelled was got in 1978, that was the Heston, but we had that for 10 years. Then we got the 690, and then after some time with the 695, then for that on to other larger one.
Because I watched a video not that long ago come out of the archives of you at McElderry's open day and a very young Trevor Tyrrell.
A very young Trevor
Throwing trees into the front of her. And I remember you giving an interview, Bob, saying about how good the machine looked, but I think very shortly after that you bought the first one of the 800 series and you never looked back.
No, they done well.
Well, your favourite harvester of all time, have you a single one sticks out in your memory?
Yeah, to go back to the 900 series, that was a very good harvester, very good machine. It was a jump up, and at that time, in fact, Trevor and them wasn't on for us buying, say, a higher horsepower harvester. I personally think that their idea was they were trying to sell us a smaller one. I think they thought that more customers when it would be true to end. I think that was their whole thing for going along
That
that
trend
route.
has stayed with harvesters nearly all the way through to today. They nearly always, if they can get you back the 2 or 3 model, it is the higher residual to be sold elsewhere. But so the 900 class was your favourite.
Oh, very good.
Where are you going with this one, Andrew? The same question. Favourite chopper,
This will be
favourite
interesting.
chopper of all time. Bearing in mind, you maybe just won't remember the megas as well.
Well, we had an 890. It was the first harvester over the time of the 2 machines. You know, that was the first second machine. That was the year I left Greenmount. We started driving her, and I would say I just fell in love with her. I would say that was just, I suppose, the first time getting out of Lefton and you were responsible for when I had trailer drivers and all. That was just a good time. Like.
It's like when you learn. It's like you love the first lorry you get away out to drive. You love the first tractor you get away out to drive or whatever. What about you, Robert? I know they won't let you drive a chopper.
I never left it a load of grass in my life.
Well,
So,
we've seen your digger drive and we understand
well, that's all
why. Was it the perfect year for the Krone, or had you a good year, or how would you sum up this year's grass lifting?
That was a very good year throughout for everything. Weather-wise, you couldn't ask for better, really. That leaves it easier to organise, easier to keep men. You're steady. No, it was a good year.
You know, do you think then when you have the new CLAAS and the big Krone, have you enough of trailers? Have you enough of firepower to keep? You know, if you get a bit of a wet spell and you have to get stuff
well, that's
moving
probably
up.
something we might have to look at. We do hire in Chris there, Freeman, so and then Chris has actually bought another trailer, so you've always options that way too. But when the weather turns, you need sort of all hands on deck. Like, keeping them moving is a big key.
And the big M Bob, still the daddy of them all.
Oh, aye, very much so.
You're running with triple Krone mowers as well.
Krone has brought out new triples now with augers on them, the same as the big M. Instead of having your belts, you know, your gripper belts. And we really love the augers in the big M. You can cut whole crop and all with, and you don't lose any heads. And now it leaves us now that we can cut whole crop and all if we wish with a set of the triples on behind the tractor. That gives you that optional extra mowers with grippers that you can do that.
You've ran Krone mowers for a long time, Andrew. You have variations of Krone and CLAAS in your green line. You've never tried the CLAAS mowers?
It's always, the John Deere mowers, I suppose, that I had first, and then the big M was a big step at that time, and we bought the first Krone butterflies and we just stayed. We were happy with them, no reason to change. I bought the second set and then everything, you know, every mower, blades and all, you know, so it's handy when you're stocking up, everything's there that way. Like.
Would the big M still do the lion's share of the mowing?
I would still do the biggest end of it. And other years when you have such a short window to go out and cope as much grass as you can, you need the 3 and you know that way, but the big M probably does still the biggest end of it.
Yeah, I understand.
But she probably does the weirder, more awkwarder places because she is so nimble and you know she's just quick. Your tractor and butterflies in the right place and the right man on the big M, you could probably mow on a day with her, which you could with 2 sets or 2 sets of butterflies.
Understand? Yeah. Just the nimbleness, the speed in and out of fields and whatever, and the way it works. Bob, I don't see any other colour than tractors other than blue. You know, I don't see any green tractors.
Oh, it's shapers, no.
Oh, aye.
I think the 3 is bleed blue.
Aye. I don't
Maybe it's
think
different
you
shade of
can. You can't say anything bad about the New Holland tractor because...
Well, we could.
No, you can't really because, you see, these latest New Hollands, they're bomb-proof. We find with the New Holland, with that FPT engine, it just never gives any trouble.
And do you believe in that, Bob, as well? That
Aye, as far as the engines is concerned in the New Holland tractors, I don't think there's anything really to beat it for, as Robert said there never any issues with the engine, never once.
Well, as you've progressed, but you don't have so many, like 210s and that now, you have a lot more like, I'll call them longer wheelbases introduced by myself. Would like to point that out. Along with the Krone. But that really does make a difference. Just that I know it's only a few inches longer wheelbase, but the
Makes a
extra
wild
brake
difference.
or whatever makes a massive
That makes a big difference in them larger trailers. It's unbelievable that difference that the longer wheelbase makes.
And that's where it's going to stay with New Holland, Andrew, you think?
Well, you never know.
No, I understand you never know, but
I just would find it hard, the service, and it's second to none with Kennedy's. I think that would have to come into a factor too, you know.
what's the gearbox of choice?
Power command.
Still like the power
230.
command.
Just the simplicity of it for men coming and going. Carting grass, yes. There's still, have I one with 5 or 6 auto commands now there. They're doing, you know, your more arable or your more like tillage sort of work, piping, mowing. You need to just have, you know, a wee bit more about the gearbox itself. If somebody was coming to draw for an evening, you just couldn't expect them to jump into it. It takes a wee minute or two.
The power command's a great tractor to put someone up into, to like the likes of our Connor there. You could just throw him up into a power command.
Well, even
there.
at that, you'd maybe still.
You just wouldn't be feared of letting somebody younger on to try it?
No, that's it. Those have a license at all. Like. Have a way. Actually, you shouldn't know how you have somebody for a day or two, whether they're coming for the season or not. Actually, you always have to give somebody a chance to learn, but if they're not sort of there after your first win of days or your first week, so maybe never going to get it. But sure, you need to, like, like you always, everybody had to start somewhere. Where are you going to get drivers at if you don't let young fellas drive?
You have to keep somebody coming through, or well, you'll run out very quickly.
100%. We're even lucky there at the minute. There's a group of them boys are all very friendly, you know. There's 4 or 5 of them. They all sort of go out together at the weekends. So if you sort of get one of them, you get them all, you know. Except Joe there. He can't stay after 5 o'clock on a Saturday. Maybe 3 o'clock on a Saturday, to be honest. He knows we're talking about him here. Yes. I'll just follow them in the winning stories about you.
Alright, thanks. Thank you. The Lord Tree Pierce no on.
I wouldn't believe one bit of that.
So you're running Red Rock tankers at your slurry equipment. What else are you running on the slurry side, Andrew?
3 Agquip, 12-metre drill bars. They're all Duda pumps. It's James McCain Agquip reelers. No, they're not. It's still the same, roughly.
Do you like the Red Rock tankers? Because he's moved up big. You were about, was it 3,000 or 3.5 previous?
3.5 errands, aye. I think the only thing, well, that time we didn't have that, the nurse tank. I kind of wish we hadn't spent the money on the DCA arms on the tankers. We never use them now.
We had farmers would have been saying to us, oh, to cut out a man on a tractor, would you not be doing it with the DCA arms? And the first year them tankers came, we did do a lot of work with the DCA arms, and then started more with the nurse tanks. And Andrew would have said to the customers, try the nurse tanks and see what you think. And the nurse tank went to their, and I'm talking, these men would have a lot of slurry. And one of the men come out and said, don't be coming back with the DCA arms, just bring the nurse tank, because for the amount of volume of thousands of gallons that you're putting out, the difference is day and night. So bring the nurse tank.
Hey Bob, there's some changes from the 1,500 gallon Star tankers with a boom into the 2,000 Land Drive Red Rock. You look at what you had to do back then to move a bit of slurry. Whenever you're under pressure, Andrew, and you're sending out 3 rigs, and you still can't get it done in the time.
Aye.
The rest of the contracting side of things, Andrew, how's it doing? Like you're ploughing, you're sowing, I see the ploughs in there. Is it as busy as ever, or?
It varies a lot year to year. More so sowing now for whole crop. The barley thing has nearly disappeared a bit. I'm not saying for combining, I mean, sorry. But more whole crop is starting to pick up. The bigger dairy farmers they're all going down that way. It's a good chance for them to reseed ground as well. Undersowing it, you know, and cutting it with a big M, and there are a lot of them doing it that way.
Well, Bob, or the gaffer, are you proud of these 2 men?
Very much so, very much so.
Even Robert? We know you're very proud of Andrew.
Very good, donkey.
Back to my original question, Bob. You're proud of these men, and that are you glad to see that they've followed in your footsteps?
Well, Robert, he's been in the diggers for years and like that, and he's got on very well with that, very exceedingly well. And Andrew, he's the different jobs, a whole lot of different jobs. Running a fleet at Silage there, like it's to take somebody with a good head to do that and keep customers happy. It really does. It's no, everybody really could do it.
But Bob, does that not fill your heart with a sense of pride when you go to lift a check
Oh, why?
for a job,
It does.
and the man turns around and tells you that job was really well done?
That's that.
You've done this a lifetime of keeping customers happy. And,
So
you know, so how much have you picked up from your granda on how to look after customers, or how much do you still go in for the cup of tea and talk to granda about a problem?
I think I speak for my dad too. Like, as far as decisions or anything like that, it still lies with granda too. Like, it's but on day-to-day running now, I'm in my granda asking him a whole lot of things. If there's a good man to go to when there's a handling, because he's seen it all before usually. So asking advice, it's great to have somebody with the knowledge and the years' experience that's probably seen it all. Like.
It would be known throughout the years as a kid when you turned up to the field and Bob was in the field, he would have known how to hit the party button and put on a show. Would that, and I would say you still would, Bob.
I loved to drive in the Krone that day. I really did. Yeah.
The only negative thing I can say about the Krone is that you've went against the one thing I always said about this fleet. It's the most uniform fleet I've ever seen in my life, throughout my whole life.
Well, mind you, a day or two last week, I honestly thought it was nearly going to be 2 Krones.
And Bob said no. The gaffer said no. Never. Well, how are you keeping, Bob, in your health? Because am I allowed to ask what age you are now?
Next Thursday I'll be 94.
94. Fair play. 94, and Andrew's still going every other day for advice. To be honest, we should have had a 4th person in here, I think, today now. She's the glue that keeps you 3 men right now, isn't that right?
She was just telling us the other night, this year, up till now, she made 845 dinners. Definitely, she's good to the men here, and that's why we no trouble getting fellas. She makes sure they are well fed.
Too good sometimes, too good when you're trying to shove it in and get on, and there's a big plate of stuff still in front of them. You're like, come
You're
on.
sitting there, come on.
You know, a farm without a woman, it's not the same. The best thing ever I done was getting married in '63, and I had a very good wife, I must say. Very, very good. Of course, I lost her 9 years ago, and that was a big miss. But Audrey's just took Hillary's just took where Audrey left off.
Audrey is some woman now. We can all.
A place without a woman would be completely lost, and that's the truth of it.
For our Christmas special, yous have been always said this, and I've never said anything any different. The man in the middle was always a hero to me growing up. It was just the shiny flash, and it was for me as a kid. And it was 7, 6, 10s, 7, 8, 10s when I was at that real. We call that influential age. It was just through that period of time, which would have been the most influential part of probably my life, what was making me love all of this. You know, coming around, chatting to the gaffer, you know, going into the house, and Audrey would have been making the cup of tea, and this man would have been talking you through every little engineering detail of a CLAAS, the 900, and how they really, and you're just like, you know, you left it, and the crack that they had with the boys and the fullness, you know, and it was always where we looked up, and it's been great for me to see Andrew coming in and following, starting to really follow that on. But, well, Andrew, have you turned yourself more into, is it more a managerial role now, or do you get much time in the seat? Because your dad's in the seat every day.
No, I'm still driving every day. Like, I try to stay in the yard as much as I can until I'm really need it. The fellas that's there, let them tear away and I suppose sort of run it from afar. But when the grass starts, then I know I'm driving every day.
And where do you fall in mostly?
The last 3 or 4 years, probably mowing has been the biggest thing, but buck rake and I can't remember at all. Or I would say I carted more last year than I have done in the last 10 odd years. Like,
you're a CLAAS driver.
Oh,
who's
no.
been here a lifetime. Snowy.
Oh,
David.
no. He's like a gaffer, he's class 3 and 3.
He would suffer if you wanted to word it that way.
Oh,
Every day before he would even want to take.
Yeah,
Isn't that the truth?
It is, aye. Yeah.
But this is the thing that we were talking about at Agritechnica with different dealers. Drivers have such an influence now compared to the old days, because if you get a really good man, you want to put him in a machine that he wants to drive.
Of course, keep him.
To keep him, and to keep him happy. And I think the Krone, even if you were unsure, and Bob was unsure, and maybe you were on the fence, you were sure, your driver has probably never once thought, bad move. Like he's been really committed and loved driving that machine.
That was a big thing in it too. 100%, aye, definitely.
I think you'll be well happy. I think you have made a very, very, very good choice there.
Well, I hope so. Time will tell.
Time will. And listen, a new model, a new machine could always have a little bit of fettling. As you're sitting here now, do you think, Andrew, you keep it 50-50 maybe?
Oh, it could be, Garth.
There's no reason you wouldn't keep a Krone and keep a CLAAS.
I don't see why you wouldn't.
Maybe try a John Deere next time?
No, I don't think that's... No,
that was a hard no.
I don't see why we wouldn't keep it fit in both camps. Like it's good competition, as I said earlier on. I let you see, this is only the first year of this machine, so 3 or 4 years down the line, we will know exactly what's, we've had CLAAS X amount of years, so like it's a big step too. You need to compare everything.
Well, look, boys, thank you very much for sitting down and having a chat, and I think it's great to see change, and I think when you first told me that this had happened, I was telling you it was a great job. Without change, we have to be afraid you can never be afraid to try different things. So that's a fantastic job. I'm glad that you have really liked the harvester. It's done well. It certainly got a lot of PR this year. There's no question about it.
Definitely.
I'm looking forward to seeing the new case digger arriving. And
that will not happen.
You spoiled that. That was meant to be a secret.
Oh, sorry.
That's after Christmas.
Bob The GAFFER, it is absolutely fantastic to just see the business, even as you are, and we know we're talking about your age, and you've come through hard times, and you talk very fondly about you've lost Audrey. I couldn't even believe that was 9 years ago. And talk about and the importance of family.
Real hard blow, wasn't it?
And it's real good to see the two boys sitting either side of you. And one thing I have always loved about being about here as a child was the camaraderie. And we're laughing, and Robert, we're slagging each other off, but we had some mighty nights crack going out, and you nicknamed me all the different things of the day growing up. But men come into work and they work so well together, and this business had a really tough one last year with Jason. It took a lot of boys working hard together to get through that.
Well, how have things been this year? I know there was sort of a bit of a tragedy at the start of the year with Jason, losing him, I'm sure it's been weird with you boys not having him in the yard.
Sure, 100%. Jason was always very, if you were going to talk to anyone in the yard first thing in the morning, it'd probably have him shouting at you type of thing.
Well, that's what I was going to say, you wouldn't have got a word in, he'd have just been
slobbering at you. Yeah. As much as some mornings you come in, give her, you miss a carry on too. That was the thing, there always was a bit of carry on with him, So it has, but no, 100% you miss him, sir. Definitely, you miss a carry on, the crag.
And he's a bit older than them boys, he would have probably known the running a bit, probably more than Andrew would have at a time too.
Aye, 100%. Aye. If you ever heard him and ask anybody, sir, it was always go to him. Even if it's right or wrong, they just tell you to do it anyway. Like.
They probably would have told everybody else that you were asking silly questions. Always saying, but you know.
Aye. 100%. Aye. You ask me something, he tell you something even stupider. You know?
The likes of the new shovel coming too.
Aye. That shovel was his weighing, like it was, you know, at yourself.
That was a tough one for you, Andrew.
Yep, very much so.
Tough one for the whole business. I suppose you all had to work together to get through it.
And friends with him for as long as I mind.
But the team got you there, Andrew.
Oh, 100%. I ever did
And that's the one thing that sometimes we focus on all the fancy machinery, and we focus on all the money that things cost, and we focus on all that. But you know, it's times like that when you see the true value of good people around you, and probably back to you, Gaffer, instilled by you. And you know, these boys have seen how you've come through hardship, and you know, and you lost your brother not that long ago as what your twin. You know hardship, and then it's just back to that thing, Andrew, that we always like to sort of, as we finish off our videos, you know, tough times, and it's okay to not be okay, and reach out and talk about, you know, things like that, and you had to have those people to talk to. I just think it's very important that we mention them on this video, because
he's missed here big time.
Absolutely. I think I said that to you on that message. You should be very proud of the team that you have around you.
Well, we do have a very good team. We do. Like when times are tough, like you need people sometimes to just spur you on, and you are in it together. Like sometimes you might think they're trying to go against you, but they're not. Like on a Saturday night at 10 or 11 o'clock, you're looking around the field and all them chaps is there pulling together a team. That's nice. There's something about that too, like definitely.
Everybody can, you know, I always say, can drop the baton for a period of time, and if the next person coming along beside them can just give them that wee shoulder, you know, and it's great to see that culture. Yes, we wouldn't survive in North Antrim, particularly maybe North Antrim, without absolutely winding the life out. It's just what we do in this part of the world. We don't know any different. I'm definitely taught by the gaffer. But anyway, thank you very much, boys, and really excited to see the new CLAAS up against the Krone, see how it does. Brilliant job, thank you.
2, 3. Remember when you told me that I should take it slow, but I can't stay when the world is waiting. I'm too used to being on my own. Hearts will break, but I have to chase it. I'm dancing on the edge again. The wind is calling my name. I'm dancing on the edge again. This time I'm not looking back, babe. You can change me, you can tell me down. I'll leave echoes in every place I find. I'll break the molds with rebels mind. I'm a hurricane of free-born mind. A free-born mind.
Some joke, like, oh, I did, old me, bro.